Hi everyone and welcome. Today I will be talking about my first quarterly TBR for 2023, so all the books that I plan to read in January, February and March. Now I do know that there has been quite a bit of TBRs on the channel lately. That's just the type of thing that happens when you look forward to the new year. I have the ongoing series that I want to continue with, I have the standalones that I want to read, and I also have the series that I want to start and finish in 2023. So my apologies if that's not the type of content that you're here for. I do plan to have other types of videos, of course, for the new year, and this is definitely the last TBR in a while, just because I've gotten all of the 2023 content out. This is a quarterly TBR, so the next one will probably happen in a couple of months. But without further ado, let's just get into these books. I do have 15-ish, I think, that I want to talk about, so that's around 5 books per month, but as some of you know, I also have a TBR jar, so I do think that this is a doable number, especially because some of these are a little bit shorter, but we will see. And the first one that I have here is actually one that I will not be reading, but I will be skimming through the book because I am co-hosting a read-along for this one. And that is Kushiel's Dark by Jacqueline Carey. We will be reading this first book over January and February, and then have a live show either at the end of February, the beginning of March. I will link all the details down below. There is an announcement video made by Sarah, which I will also link. So if you want to join, definitely do so, and we will be discussing these books over on Sarah's Discord. Now then, I do have quite a bit of series that I wanted to start and finish in 2023, so these are the ones that I will hopefully finish over the first 3 months of the year, because all of these are trilogies. The first one that I have here is The Wolf of Ornyaro by K.S. Vilasso. This is the first book in the Chronicles of the Bitch Queen. Now I have heard that since then, since the original title was made, they have changed the title of the trilogy because, of course, Chronicles of the Bitch Queen, that will be difficult in some environments, I suppose. I don't really know what the new title now is, but The Wolf of Ornyaro is definitely still the first one. And I do know that Maria is hosting a read-along. So this is a co-host of read-along. I don't really know who the other hosts are, so please let me know if you want your channels linked in the description box down below. But what I have heard is that the first live discussion will be on the 4th of February, if I'm not mistaken, on Maria's channel. So I will not be co-hosting any of this, but I do want to join because this is a series that I was very interested in, and just having those live discussions, knowing that people are going to talk about it, that makes me very excited, and that makes me want to read the series and follow that schedule in a way. So The Wolf of Ornyaro, this one I have heard is about, well, a queen that is very unliked. It says here, they called me the bitch queen, the she-wolf, because I murdered a man and exiled my king the night before they crowned me. So very exciting. From what I've heard, she was forced to marry a man who was from, I think, a clan that they were at war with, just to make peace. But then he disappeared. And after a couple of years, he sends her a note asking to meet up and discuss. And then there is a failed assassination attempt against her. So now she is in a strange land and she doesn't really know how to survive there. This sounds extremely interesting. I have heard that this is not grimdark, but dark fantasy, and it is bleak at times. So one that I have high hopes for. And as I said, I will definitely be reading the first book by the time of that live show. Afterwards, I will follow their schedule, but I do think that they will be reading 1 book per month, more or less. Another series that I have the entire series of already is the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. The first book is the 5th season, of course. I have kind of been hyped up for this series by a lot of people on my Discord channel. I know that Raf absolutely adores this, Paramita adores this, a couple of other people also really enjoyed this one. So I just want to give it a chance. And especially because N.K. Jemisin is often said as a modern day fantasy author that you need to give a chance. Now I have heard since that this is genre bending, so there are some sci-fi elements as well. This is usually an anti-buzzword for me, so fantasy that is connected to sci-fi or where sci-fi is infused in the story. But I do think that N.K. Jemisin is making something extremely unique here where I will not mind it. We will see. This is called the Broken Earth trilogy, so of course this is very bleak as well. It says this is the way the world ends for the last time. It starts with death, it starts with betrayal. Extremely interested for this one, and I have a feeling that I will love this one, and at the same time I think that that might be a risk to make myself believe this because it is out of my comfort zone. But I do know that a couple of people on my Discord were also going to read this one, and as I said, it is a favorite for some people on my Discord as well. So quite interested to hear their thoughts and to just discuss this series together with them. And then the last series that I will try to start and finish over the first 3 months of the years is, of course, the Blackthorn and Grim trilogy by Juliette Merlier. Now, this is one that I will be buddy reading with Evie over at She Was Only Evie, and I do think that we will have live shows either for each of these books separately or for one at the end. I will discuss this with Evie. I probably should have done this before starting this video, and I will have just a comment down below, either in the description box or just a post that I have linked to the top that will explain what we will be doing here. But I will for sure be discussing this series on my Discord. I know that I have quite a bit of people who enjoy Juliette Merlier. I'm a very big fan of her. She has never let me down. I still have quite a bit of books by her that I still need to read. This is one of those trilogies that I still need to read. But fans of Juliette Merlier who know my reading taste have told me that I absolutely adore this one. This is a Blackthorn and Grim trilogy, but all of them are called Blackthorn and Grim novels. So I think that, like most of Juliette Merlier's works, this is a series, but all of them have like an arc in the individual books. And I think that this one is also about mystery. So each of them you have a duo that is going to solve a mystery in this world. I cannot wait, and I will be trying to reading one book per month, of course, together with Evie, so we will talk about the schedule together, but I hope to finish this one in the first quarter of the year. And thinking about it more and more, I am wondering if I should start the year with his first book, Dreamer's Spool, just because it's always nice if you can start the year with a new favorite, if you can start the year with a book that you absolutely adore. It kind of sets the tone, doesn't it? So those are the 3 series that I want to start and finish over the course of the first 3 months of the year. Then we have a reread, and that is of course Game of Thrones and Clash of Kings. So this is book 1 and 2 of the Song of Ice and Fire series. I am hosting a read-along for this series, and we will be reading the first 2 books in the first 3 months of the year. I think that the 3rd book will be discussed in the 4th month of the year, so I'm giving myself a little bit of time. I am going to reread these 2. Unlike Kushiel's Dart, which I am going to skim read because I read last year, absolutely adored it, these books have been a while. I think that I read them for the first time over a decade ago, and I have not reread them since. But this is one of my all-time favorite series, so of course I am going to really reread them and give them the time that they deserve. So this is going to be a reread along together with Joanna, or the 2 Joannas I should say, Scott and Alex, and I will link the announcement video down below. We also have an entire schedule of the live shows when they will be happening, and we will be having 2 live shows per book. So extremely excited for that. And then there's also a read-along for the entire Song of Ice and Fire series over on Steve's channel. And he will be reading this for the first time. And the first live show is already the 15th of January. I will be joining that one to talk about Game of Thrones. So this is also one of those books that I will be picking up quite soon. I don't know if I will listen to the audiobooks. I've heard that they are not the best. But to be honest, I'm quite easily pleased when it comes to audiobooks. The narrator is usually fine, and especially for a big series like this, I think that it will be fine. But I also have, of course, the Folio Society editions here. So at the very least, I will have them open on my desk and just go through them and look at the beautiful illustrations. I will maybe also read some passages through immersive reading, but I will not be opening them on the couch and eating chips next to it and having like dog-earing the pages. So I don't really know how I will be reading these because I only have the Dutch editions here that I can read physically, and I really want to read them in English for the first time. So of course we'll be reading these, and all of the read-along announcements both over on Steve's channel as the one that we are rereading will be linked down below. Then I do have a couple of series that I would like to finish. If you don't know, I have an ongoing series TBR jar. I will be picking one of those books that I have in the jar every month. So hopefully over the first 3 months of the year, I will at least make progress in 3 series that I've already started. I also have a standalone TBR jar. So that means that for the first 3 months of the year, at the very least, I will be reading 3 fantasy standalones, and I will pick them in the first weekly update of that month. So that means that tomorrow, the 1st of January, in my first weekly update of 2023, I will be picking one of each of those jars. That's also the reason why I don't have standalones on the list for now, just because I've gotten quite a bit for Christmas, and I'm just so excited for all of them that I don't really know which ones I would like to read in the first 3 months of the year. And also I have that TBR jar, and also standalones are low commitment. I can pick one up, read them, that's done. It's not the same as series where if you start them, you are committing to multiple books in that series. So I feel like I don't really need to put them on the TBR. Whenever I feel like reading them, I will pick them up. But for the ongoing series, I have a couple that I just really want to finish early on in the year because I absolutely adore them and because I think it will make me feel good if I make progress and finish these series and be able to say, these are the ones that I finished. In 2022, like spoiler alert for the end of the year content where I go over my stats and goals, I barely finished any series, and the series that I did finish I didn't like the Broken Empire trilogy by Mark Lawrence. So I want to do better this year, and I think that it will give me a boost if I do so in the beginning of the year already. So the first one that I have here is of course one that I will love, and that is Assassin's Fate by Robin Hobb. This is the final book in the Realm of the Elderling series. I was hoping to finish this before the end of the year. It didn't happen, but this one will be happening very soon. I know that I will love it. If you don't know, The Realm of the Elderlings is probably going to be my favorite series of all time. It's going to push A Song of Ice and Fire from its throne. I absolutely adore it. This will break my heart. It's also a big series. I'm listening to these on audiobooks because I think that the audiobooks are amazing. I do know that not everybody agrees with that, but I do, especially the one that covers the ones that cover Fitz. So yes, one that I will hopefully finish soon and just give me a boost to continue the year in the same vein. Then another one that I want to finish soon, and this is a holder because I don't have the fourth and final book, but that is The Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. This is the third one, The Veiled Throne. Recently read it, absolutely adored it, so now I want to read the fourth and final book. This is a read-along over at Steve's channel as well, so we will be discussing this one, The Veiled Throne, in January. And then I hope to continue with the series, listening to this one on audiobook as well. I think that the first book is quite difficult to get into on audiobook because there are a lot of different people. There's a lot going on and it's difficult to keep track, but after that, once you're into the story, these are perfect audiobooks. This one, of course, has a lot of political intrigue. At this point, we are so far evolved into the series, we are so immersed that it's actually difficult to talk about what it's about because you will get spoiled. But please look this one up if you haven't heard me talking about this one before. It is amazing, and it is one that I think everybody should give a chance, especially if you like political intrigue, if you like extremely well fleshed out characters, but with a very good plot. I don't think that anybody would say that this series is boring. So these two I definitely want to finish, and then there is another one that I want to finish. That is, of course, the First Law series. Now, of course, again, this is a holder because I don't have the final book of the Age of Madness trilogy yet, but that is The Wisdom of Crowds. I'm going to buddy read this one together with Jose and Raf, and we will have a live discussion either in January or the beginning of February. So this is one that I will be reading in January. I have adored A Little Hatred, and I really enjoyed The Trouble with Peace. So the third and final book I think I will like, and I'm also a little bit afraid of the ending because I don't think that it will have a good ending. I don't know why, but well, it will not have a good ending because I think that that would not fit the series. But I don't know who will get hurt. I don't know what the end result will be, and I'm so excited to read about that. Apparently, all of these are audiobooks because this one I will also be listening to on audiobook just because Stephen Pacey is the perfect narrator for this series, so it needs to happen, right? So, the dogs, of course, moment. I was doing so good. I was having an entire filming streak of just one clip and then the dogs. Well, anyway, the last book that I will be reading for sure is the sequel to The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This is again a holder because the sequel has not come out yet, but that will be the second book in the Empire of the Wolf series. This was a new release of 2022. I absolutely adored it. In this one, we follow a justice, which means that he roams the realm and he goes around and sees if the law is being upheld. If that's not the case, then he is both the judge, as the executioner, as the jury. He does everything. Now, he does have like a sidekick, Helena, and she is the one who tells this story. Now, one of the things that I really like here is that from the start you know that this is going to be about the fall of this empire. We have a religion that is having more power over time, and in this one we also have a small mystery of a murder, and of course this justice is solving this murder. I really enjoyed this. I liked that Helena was the one telling the story, and I want to see what is going to happen after this first installment. So I think that this also has potential to might become one of my favorite series of all time, being in that top 10, just because this first one was so strong already, and I think what will be happening in the next installments with religion and stuff like that will be even more to my liking. So one that I have high hopes for, and I think that the second one is either coming out in January or in February, so when that happens I will pick it up and I will hopefully read it. And then one that I hope to read, but I'm not entirely sure, is the first book in the Books of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. Ursula K. Le Guin is an author that I've been wanting to try for a long time, especially this series, and this first one is quite short. It's only 130 pages, so I hope to read it in March, and that will then start my read of this entire series. I think it's 6 books, and then we do have in this one a 7th book I think that never has been published before, but all of them are around the 150 page mark, so I do think that I will be able to start this at the end of the first quarter. If it's not the case, it goes to the second quarter, but one that I have high hopes for, so let's hope that it's as good as everybody says and as good as I am expecting. So those are all of the books that I plan to read in January, February and March. Please let me know if you're interested in any of those to buddy read. I will be talking about these on my Discord, of course, and also let me know what you want to start the year with. I have that weird superstition that the book that you start the year with will set the tone, just because your entire mindset will be different if you absolutely adore the book or if you hated the book. So do you have a book that you want to start 2023 with? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. As always, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more TBRs, you can watch my ongoing series TBR right here. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!